But some people have had visceral reactions to this kind of stuff. For example, Dusty from MiceChat going over the Jazz Kitchen. I just thought this was a really funny rant for you guys, so I just kind of wanted to play it here because I was busting out.
Well, and I think after his rant, we should definitely talk about Downtown Disney. We haven't done we haven't talked about Downtown Disney in a long time, but there's a lot to be talked about here. So yeah, let's listen to Dusty and then we'll dive in.
Sure.
Than what we're walking up to right now. This used to be the Jazz Kitchen. And now it's the Jazz Kitchen. It's the same thing, right? It's the Jazz Kitchen, Coastal Kitchen now. But it used to be Ralph Brennan's Jazz Kitchen and had a very New Orleans look. And now look at it. It looks like, I don't know, the Contemporary Hotel at Epcot.
Sure. Go back just a little bit, like maybe a second. Okay, right there is perfect. Okay, this is funny. I don't know if we have any like boba drinkers in the audience, right? But I'm a boba guy. Okay, yeah. I get boba all the time. I love it.
Gotcha.
But in LA, right? And we got these boba places everywhere. But in LA, when you go to a boba place, and Chat, if you're a boba drinker, you'll know what I'm talking about. Mm-hmm. Every boba place in LA has the grass on the wall thing that you're seeing here. Yes. And not just on the outside, on the inside too. Every freaking boba place. It's hilarious. This looks, oh my God. It's hilarious to me. This is every boba place in LA.
I know. I'm surprised at how generic it looks, right? How many things evoke something that you've seen before, but not in the best way possible. Let's see.
I don't know. The Contemporary Hotel at Epcot or in Florida meets California Pizza Kitchen. They took anything interesting out. They put these bright orange chairs and umbrellas and things all over. Here's their new patio.
It's so annoying.
As you can see, they're just packed. People love it. See, Nathan, they can't. Their waiting list is too long. No.
Now, notice how the manager's standing right there. Here we go.
No one will ever dine here now because they've absolutely ruined it. Look how horrible it looks. They took everything interesting out and just put in these ugly chairs, ugly, 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 ugly murals. This is hideous. I hope
real
they
quick,
go out
if
of
we
business.
could pause it real quick.
Go ahead.
Dusty's going. This is so funny. Yeah, but here's the thing, and
Sure.
this is gonna be an unpopular opinion, but
Yeah,
like, I don't hate this, and I see why they're doing it.
Yeah.
Number one,
yeah.
they're from what I understand, they're trying to get this mid-century vibe at Downtown Disney. We've seen concept art about that. They're trying to go mid-century, which I support that because Disneyland was 1955. It's heavily rooted in the mid-century era, right?
Sure. Yeah.
You could tell by the mural, very mid-century. These orange chairs, actually, believe it or not, pretty mid-century too. That's the energy they're going with. And the other thing too with this is that when it comes to these retail spaces, the vendors get swapped in and out pretty frequently. Now, I know they've been there for a while, but in general, this isn't an attraction in a theme park where it could be there for 50 years.
Right.
You have a new soap place or a Bath and Body Works or a bar or whatever, and it's here today, and in 2 years it's something else.
Yeah.
You can't have these very expensive sort of like very narrow focused themed spots, because once that place moves out, now you're stuck with all this theming where the next person has to come in and sort of work around that. Then it looks like a Spirit of Halloween store, because now you're taking an existing themed restaurant or a shop, and you're just throwing in like, I don't know, like Quicksilver merchandise on the wall. Then it looks even worse. Like, perfect example, Rainforest Cafe. Right? You have a heavily themed specific thing, and now they're repurposing it into some Star Wars thing. And it's like, it just looks even worse. So this is why they're doing this. They're minimizing it. So now if, say, I don't know, Ruth Chris Steakhouse wants to move into this spot next year, there's not a whole lot of work to get them in here. Now, if you have a bunch of jazz stuff, it's a problem. So that's why they're doing it. I know for theme park fans, it's unfortunate. It's sad to see it. But I can see Disney's point on here, and they're definitely going that mid-century route. It's pretty obvious.
Ugly murals. This is hideous. I hope they go out of business.
You hope they go out of business.
I'm saying that for the benefit of the manager was standing there at the host stand because I want him to hear how horrified I am that we're in a theme park setting and they removed the one thing people go to a theme park for. Nathan, what would that be? The theme?
Oh, I pause it real quick. This is an interesting comment from Theme Park Wizard, and he brings up a good point here. He says, "But Din Tai Fung has a pretty specific theme building."
It does, yeah.
So that's interesting. Do we have a picture? Can we Google that real quick?
Yeah.
Let's see if we can get that up, because I think he brings up a good point here. This actually might be kind of like the hotel thing, right? We have some examples of them going super themed, hyper themed, like the Galactic Star Cruiser, and then they're de-theming stuff like the Grand Floridian. Like, what's going on, right? Let's see.
So I believe this is it, right?
Let's see. Oh. That looks pretty Asian.
Yeah, I know, right? That's the kind of, I think we were talking about this before, how it's like you have hyper themed for Star Wars Galactic Star Cruiser, and then you're going to strip the theme from a place like Boardwalk or something, or whatever. And it's like, what are we doing here? Wizard does bring up a good point. It's like, well, wait a minute, this is like super themed, or at least it's like a very almost LA inspired, elegant take on this theme, right?
Yeah, but if you really look at this though, at the roofing and all that, if you took away, like, you have obviously the Asian fixtures along the woodwork and stuff. You would have to replace that if this becomes something else. But the roof work is very mid-century. It's very reminiscent of something you see like in the Incredicoaster. I mean, you change out the woodwork on that, and you could easily make this a mid-century looking building, in my opinion. I mean, that's not a huge stretch. It's not like a P.F. Chang's where you have two of these huge, gigantic Chinese Clydesdales on both ends. Or this isn't that crazy to turn to a mid-century building if you wanted to.
I don't know about that, because these sweep up at an angle like they would Asian architecture, whereas, for example, the Incredicoaster, for example, it comes to a point and it's very straight, right? So straight lines and everything.
This is more curved up.
It's more curved. So it's I mean, and those little details, folks, are, they architectural guys go crazy about, but I think it's just very interesting. It's like,
he brings up a great point though, because this is definitely more themed than the Jazz Kitchen, which makes me wonder. Because my theory is they want to minimalize it, so when you have other vendors come in, it's easier to swap them out, right? Which makes sense.
No, and that makes sense too. Yeah.
Right, but then you have this though. So then, what's the game plan? Is it I don't know. Like, is Jazz Kitchen? Are they retheming all their restaurants nationwide or something? And is that part of this? I don't know.
It's weird. MiceChat had a write-up a few weeks ago about like how the various Jazz Kitchens all around the U.S. were like very distinctly themed, very distinctly, let's say, they immerse you into that kind of New Orleans jazz feel, and it's like, this is like this one, like the sore thumb here that really sticks out. It's like really playing to the LA theme, and it's like, well, yeah, but it's downtown Disney, people have a certain expectation when they actually go in there. So I do agree with you. We're in a state of transition right now. These things may look off as they currently exist right here. Like you said, we are going towards a kind of a more cohesive theme for downtown Disney in general. And while they will have maybe some architectural embellishments here or there, it will be much more unified than it ever has been.
Yeah. Now, Dusty's getting a little heat in our live chat with his comment about wanting to go out of business. Mike here says, yeah, wanting people to lose their jobs is a little much.
Well, yeah. I mean,
Matthew saying wanting Disney as a whole to go out of business is actual cruelty. Well, he wasn't referring to. Oh, wait, here he actually elaborates. I hope he just meant the restaurant, not.
No, he means the restaurant. He's not talking about all of Disney.
Yeah. Yeah, that's interesting. But I had a feeling that might rub people a little bit the wrong way because you're dealing with people's jobs and stuff. But Dusty's a really good guy. He doesn't mean any harm. No, he's just trying to be funny, I think.
Yeah, he even says, he's like, I promise, folks, I'm not going to be bitching this entire video. He just wanted to get a lot of that off his chest. And sometimes you say things with passion sometimes it comes out wrong. I think in that case, it might have.